Hey, welcome to the chosen ones. The Lord's got his eyes on everything, keeping an eye on the bad guys and the good guys. That's what it says in Proverbs 15 verse 3. Picture this, you're just going about your business, minding your own business, walking your path, driven by purpose, focused. And then, out of nowhere, people start tripping over themselves to make you the villain in their own story. They hurt you, betray you, and then flip the script, claiming you're the one who's done them wrong. Sound familiar? Here's the cold, brutal truth. Chosen ones often walk through life carrying a unique energy that disrupts others, sparks insecurities, and rattles hidden fears. And instead of owning their picture this, you're just going about your business, minding your own business, and suddenly people start making you out to be the bad guy in their story. They hurt you, betray you, and then turn the tables, claiming you're the one who's done wrong by them. Sound familiar? Here's the cold, brutal truth. Chosen ones often have a unique energy that disrupts others, triggering insecurities and rattling hidden fears. Instead of owning their feelings, some will cast you as the enemy, convincing everyone else that they're the victim. It's almost laughable, right? Here you are, just trying to live your purpose, and suddenly, you're the plot twist in someone else's drama. But don't worry. While they're busy rewriting reality to make you look like the villain, someone else is watching. And let's be real, the big guy upstairs sees everything. Those who've hurt you may think they're getting away with it, but the clock is ticking, and God's got a front row seat. At number 1, chosen ones are like mirrors for other people's insecurities. When chosen ones walk into a room, they often bring a kind of unspoken intensity that disrupts the atmosphere. They don't have to say or do anything out of the ordinary. Just their presence alone stirs up something uncomfortable in others. This isn't because they're trying to intimidate or prove a point. They're just operating on a different level of authenticity. They know who they are and refuse to settle for anything less. For many people, this quiet confidence creates an internal mirror, forcing them to confront insecurities or flaws they'd rather ignore. Those who haven't worked on themselves feel exposed in the presence of someone like this. It's as if it's like the chosen one's existence reminds them of all the potential they've missed, the dreams they've given up on, or the ways they've compromised their own values. Instead of facing these uncomfortable truths, people often react with resentment. It's easier to criticize, label, or even ostracize someone than to look in the mirror and admit, maybe the problem is me. So, they twist. They twist things to make the chosen one look bad. They'll say things like they're better than everyone or they're so full of themselves, projecting their own insecurities onto the chosen one to make themselves feel better. It's a defense mechanism, a way to avoid facing their own shadows by painting the chosen one as arrogant, distant, or selfish. Things create a narrative where the chosen one becomes the problem. They'll say things like they think they're better than everyone, or they're so full of themselves, projecting their own insecurities onto the chosen one to make themselves feel better. It's a defense mechanism, a way to avoid facing their own shadows by painting the chosen one as arrogant, distant, or selfish. But the irony is chosen ones rarely see themselves as better than others. They simply don't pretend to be something they're not. Their honesty makes others uncomfortable, not because it's offensive, but because it's real. And in a world where authenticity is rare, those who embody it become both a threat and a mirror to those who live in denial. Number 2, victim chosen ones rarely see themselves as better than others. They simply don't pretend to be something they're not. Their honesty makes others uncomfortable, not because it's offensive, but because it's real. And in a world where authenticity is rare, those who embody it become both a threat and a mirror to those who live in denial. Blaming becomes a tool to maintain control. One of the cruelest tricks people play on chosen ones is hurting them and then turning around to claim they're the ones who've been wronged. This isn't an accident, it's a calculated move to control the story. They know that playing the victim earns them sympathy, a shield that keeps others from seeing the truth. By pretending to be the ones who've suffered, they're able to mask their own blaming as a way to keep the upper hand. It's a mean trick, and one of the most hurtful things someone can do to someone they've chosen. It's like they're trying to control the story by acting like the victim. They know that playing the victim will make people feel sorry for them, and that shields them from the truth. It's a way to hide their actions, so that they look like the villain to everyone else. This is especially painful because it uses something the chosen one is good at, being compassionate. Chosen ones often avoid conflicts, because they like peace more than drama. They don't go out of their way to defend themselves because they don't want to play petty games. They're focused on bigger things, like spiritual growth and self. They're usually pretty focused on their goals, spiritual growth, and self-mastery, so they don't usually get bogged down in petty drama. But this also makes it super easy for others to twist the situation to make the chosen one look guilty by default. And the people using this tactic are usually pretty aware of what they're doing. They know that most people only see the surface, so they count on the fact that people won't look any deeper, won't question why the story doesn't quite add up. And because the chosen one stays silent, the story grows as more and more people join in. In the end, it's a classic example of psychological manipulation. The chosen one doesn't defend themselves, so the people who are really guilty get to hide behind sympathy and fake victimhood. It's a messed up, unfair game, but the chosen one knows the truth. And so does a higher power watching from above, keeping track of every silent wound. Number 3, they can sense the lies behind smiling faces. Chosen ones tend to have the narrative grows with others jumping on the bandwagon. In the end, it's a classic case of psychological manipulation. The chosen one's unwillingness to defend themselves becomes their supposed guilt, while the real offender gets to hide behind a wall of sympathy and fake victimhood. It's a twisted, unfair game, but the chosen one knows the truth. And so does a higher power watching from above, keeping track of every silent wound. Number 3, they can sense the lies behind smiling faces. Chosen ones tend to have a kind of sixth sense that picks up on things other people miss. They don't just see people's words or actions, they pick up on the energy behind them. This heightened intuition allows them to sense lies, manipulation, and hidden agendas, even when everything on the surface seems perfectly fine. They can feel when something is off, even if no one else notices it. And while this gift sounds empowering, it often becomes a burden because the chosen ones can see through facades that most people take at face value. It can be pretty unsettling for people who are used to using charm, flattery, or carefully crafted stories to get what they want. When they meet someone who can't be fooled, it's threatening. They know the chosen one can sense their intentions, even when they're wrapped in a smile or polite words. This makes them feel exposed, like their private thoughts aren't so private anymore. This ability to see through people creates tension, especially when chosen. People often try to keep up relationships or be part of groups, but they end up around people who pretend to be supportive but secretly are envious or mean. Chosen ones might not call them out, but their awareness creates an invisible boundary. People who feel exposed in this way become defensive, sometimes even resentful, because the chosen one represents something they can't control or manipulate. For chosen ones, it's lonely knowing the truth about people's. The chosen ones try to keep up relationships or be part of groups. They often find themselves with people around them who pretend to be supportive, but secretly have envy or ill will. While the chosen ones might not call them out directly, their awareness creates an invisible boundary. People who feel exposed in this way become defensive, sometimes even resentful, because the chosen one represents something they can't control or manipulate. For the chosen ones, it's a lonely road. Knowing the truth about people's intentions can be isolating, especially when others refuse to admit or confront their own hidden motives. Yet, even in this isolation, the chosen ones understand that their gift of perception is also their armor. It protects them from blindly trusting those who don't truly have their best interests at heart. Their silence is their greatest defense. When chosen ones are hurt, their instinct isn't to retaliate or argue. They withdraw, letting their silence speak for itself. This silence can easily be misinterpreted. People often misinterpret it, especially those who equate loudness with strength. They assume that if someone doesn't defend themselves, they must be guilty, afraid, or simply incapable of standing up for themselves. But for chosen ones, silence isn't a retreat. It's a deliberate choice and an extraordinary show of strength. Choosing silence allows them to sidestep the chaos others try to pull them into. They understand how easily words can be twisted and used against them, especially when dealing with people who thrive on manipulation, and they don't feed into the negativity, and they refuse to give anyone the satisfaction of getting into petty battles. Their silence deprives manipulators of fuel, leaving them without the satisfaction of a reaction to manipulate, distort, or spread. The chosen one's restraint speaks volumes, a quiet reminder that they won't stoop to the same level. In a way, their silence sets a boundary. By not reacting, they let others know they won't play games or sink into confrontation. It subtly asserts their moral high ground. Proving that they don't need to explain or justify themselves to anyone who doesn't understand them. This choice might confuse or frustrate those around them, but the chosen ones don't feel the need to explain what's already clear to them. They know that sometimes the loudest statement is saying nothing at all. In a world that equates power with noise, the chosen ones find strength in their quietness, knowing that real power doesn't need to shout. They trust that in time, their silence will reveal the truth, as those who genuinely see them understand that restraint isn't weakness, it's wisdom and strength beyond measure. Number 5. They attract tests to prepare them for a higher path. Chosen ones often seem to face an unusual number of challenges and betrayals, but these difficulties aren't random. They're almost like training exercises on their path to something greater. Each hardship, each person who wrongs them, serves as a kind of test. While it may feel personal, these experiences are less about the pain. They're more about how they react and grow through them. They're being shaped, not broken, as if they're being prepared for a higher purpose that demands a lot of resilience, strength, and understanding. The people who hurt chosen ones unwittingly play a role in their spiritual evolution. These victims or perpetrators often expose weaknesses. These challenges can be tough, but they also make chosen ones stronger. They help them grow and learn important life lessons. They help chosen ones understand other people and themselves better. They help chosen ones develop empathy and understanding. These challenges can be hard, but they also make chosen ones stronger. With every hard experience, chosen ones learn important life lessons. They become more aware of human nature, both the good and the bad, and they gain strength from the experience. Their vision gets sharper, their boundaries get stronger, and their wisdom deepens. It's almost like the universe has a higher calling for them, like they have to be someone who can deal with hard times and stay true to their beliefs. Chosen ones have to let go of bitterness, heal instead of hold grudges, and keep their hearts open even though they've been through a lot. These tough times, though, are part of a bigger plan to make them into someone who can stand. They become strong in truth, compassion, and purpose. It might seem strange, but the people who hurt them actually help them become strong enough to find their true path. Number 6. God's timing means that the chosen ones will get their revenge in front of everyone. For chosen ones, it can feel lonely and unfair to be in a world that often misunderstands or mistreats them. They often have to deal with people questioning their character. Strong in truth, compassion, and purpose, those who hurt them play a vital role in this journey, unknowingly contributing to the very resilience that will one day elevate the chosen ones to their true path. Number 6. God's timing means their vindication will be public. Chosen ones navigating a world that frequently misinterprets or mistreats them can feel isolated and treated unfairly. They often face situations where their character is questioned, their intentions are misrepresented, and their actions are misjudged. In these moments, it would be tempting to fight back to clear their name and prove everyone wrong. But chosen ones often realize that their vindication doesn't come from winning every argument or setting every record straight. Instead, they put their faith in a higher power and trust in divine timing, knowing that truth has a way of surfacing when the moment is right. God's timing is deliberate, and intentions are misunderstood, and actions are misjudged. In these moments, it's tempting to fight back to clear your name and prove everyone wrong. But chosen ones often realize that their vindication doesn't come from winning every argument or setting every record straight. Instead, they put their faith in a higher power and trust in divine timing, knowing that truth has a way of surfacing when the moment is right. God's timing is deliberate, and when the time for vindication arrives, it's undeniable and public. This isn't about revenge or proving superiority. It's about a quiet but powerful unveiling of the truth. There's a wisdom in waiting that chosen ones understand. They know that truth revealed through divine timing has an impact that words and arguments never could. It's a kind of validation that no one can argue against. A turning of events that even the most stubborn doubters have to acknowledge. When this public vindication happens, it reminds everyone that there's something greater at work. It's like the universe aligns to reveal the truth in such an obvious way that no one can deny it. Those who doubted, manipulated, or misjudged the chosen one are left to face the reality that their assumptions were wrong. And those who stood by in silence, unsure of what to believe, find a renewed faith in the idea of justice. This public vindication isn't just for the chosen one. It's a reminder of a higher power that sees all, knows all, and in time, sets everything right. For the chosen one, this is the ultimate validation, requiring no words, just quiet, unshakable trust. Number 7, those who accuse others falsely are haunted by their own guilt. When people wrong the chosen one and then twist the story to make themselves appear as the victim, they may think they've won, but in a moment of public vindication isn't just for the chosen one. It's a reminder of a higher power that sees all, knows all, and in time sets everything right. For the chosen one, this is the ultimate validation, requiring no words, just quiet, unshakable trust. Number 7, those who accuse others are haunted by their own guilt. When people wrong the chosen one and then twist the story to make themselves appear as the victim, they may think they've won. But in reality, they're left with a burden they can't shake, guilt. While chosen ones often find a way to forgive, move on, and release bitterness, the accusers are stuck wrestling with the weight of their own actions. This guilt isn't just a passing regret, it's a deep nagging awareness that they've crossed a moral line they can't uncross. This feeling doesn't fade because it's more than just shame. It's a spiritual consequence, a reminder from within that they acted. Dishonesty is a tough thing to deal with. Even if you manage to fool others, you know the truth. Your mind replays the lies you told and the harm you caused, and each reminder of your own dishonesty pulls you deeper into regret. The guilt becomes like a shadow that follows you around, showing up in quiet moments when there's no one left to convince and nothing to distract you. It surfaces in unexpected ways, creating anxiety, affecting your relationships, and even impacting your self-image. Dishonesty is a tough thing to deal with. Even if they manage to fool others, they know the truth. They can't escape their own mind, which replays the lies they told and the harm they caused. Each reminder of their dishonesty pulls them deeper into regret. The guilt becomes like a shadow that follows them around, showing up in quiet moments when there's no one left to convince and nothing to distract them. It surfaces in unexpected ways, creating anxiety, affecting their relationships, and even impacting their self-image. No matter how well they hide from the world, they can't hide from themselves. For these accusers, there's no real escape from this spiritual reckoning. While the chosen ones may have walked away, leaving the past behind, the accusers are left to confront the consequences of their own actions. They come to realize the chosen ones are the ones who see the patterns. They're the ones who can step back and take a look at what's really going on, even when it's all around them. They see the things that others don't, the patterns, the motivations, and the connections that others miss. This lets them see when people are stuck in a cycle of bad behavior, even when they don't even realize it. These accusers can't escape their own actions. The chosen ones may have left the past behind, but the accusers are still dealing with the consequences of their actions. They come to realize that the real damage was done to themselves, not to the chosen ones who have found peace. They're haunted by the knowledge that they built their lives, their reputations, and their stories on lies. This guilt is always there, a reminder that the truth can't be erased, no matter how hard they try to bury it. Chosen ones see patterns others ignore. Chosen ones can step back from all the noise and emotions in a situation, giving them a clearer view of what's really happening. While most people get caught up in the immediate drama and react without thinking, chosen ones look deeper. They see recurring patterns, unspoken motivations, and connections that others miss entirely. This insight lets them recognize when people are stuck in cycles of harmful behavior, even when those people don't see it themselves. Because they observe with a level of. Chosen ones can spot these patterns without getting caught up in the chaos. They see how certain behaviors, actions, or choices lead to predictable outcomes, and they notice when people are blind to their own repeated mistakes. This awareness isn't limited to personal relationships. They can sense societal trends, family dynamics, or collective behaviors that others overlook. By seeing through to the underlying issues, chosen ones aren't fooled by surface-level explanations or excuses. They can tell when someone's actions are part of a larger, often self-destructive cycle. This knowledge gives them a kind of immunity to manipulation. This ability to spot patterns often makes others uncomfortable, especially those who don't want to confront their own habits or shortcomings. People who prefer a simplified, black and white view of life may feel unsettled by someone who can see past their masks. For chosen ones, this insight is both a gift and a burden. They see truths that others ignore, which can isolate them but also empower them. By understanding these, chosen ones are less likely to be swayed by momentary emotions or false narratives, making them resilient in the face of manipulation and wiser about whom to trust. Number 9, they're often misunderstood because they don't need validation. Chosen ones are often misunderstood because they don't seek or need external validation. They carry within them an unwavering sense of purpose and direction that doesn't rely on applause, approval, or recognition from others. This deep, they're confident in their own path, which can make people around them feel insecure or overlooked. When people are used to seeking validation from outside sources, whether it's praise, approval, or attention, someone who doesn't play into that system can seem distant, even dismissive. But for chosen ones, it's not about rejecting others. It's about understanding that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. People often see chosen ones as arrogant or cold because they're used to always needing external validation. Chosen ones don't need constant reassurance, so people might feel snubbed by their lack of need for affirmation. But the truth is, chosen ones aren't driven by the need to please or conform to societal expectations. They're focused on something much deeper: spiritual alignment and personal growth. They know that validation from others is often based on surface-level things. They're not into chasing outside validation because it's usually empty anyway. They're more into chasing their purpose and finding inner peace. This can make them feel a bit lonely at times, but they're not trying to be alone. They just understand that no one else can walk their path for them. They're happy with themselves and find comfort in knowing that their spiritual side is more important than any outside approval. While others might feel rejected, the chosen ones are just doing their thing, knowing that true validation comes from the soul's alignment, not from the approval of those who don't understand their journey. Their journey is often a catalyst for transformation. The journey of a chosen one is rarely just about their own growth. It often acts as a catalyst for transformation in others, even those who try to harm them. There's something about their energy, their unwavering presence, that stirs people at a deep, often subconscious level. It's as if their mere existence forces others to face parts of themselves they would rather ignore, the wounds they've avoided, or the dreams they've long neglected. Chosen ones don't need to try to change others, their very being does that. They work, whether or not the people around them recognize it. People who lash out at chosen ones often don't realize that the pain they try to inflict is a reflection of their own unresolved issues. When they attempt to project negativity onto the chosen ones, they're often confronted with their own inner darkness, whether it's jealousy or insecurities, or unresolved traumas. The chosen one becomes a mirror that reflects these hidden truths, which can trigger deep introspection. It's a force that causes others to question their own behavior, life choices, or things they've suppressed for years. Even those who resist or reject this transformation can't escape it. The ripple effect of the chosen one's energy. It's funny how chosen ones are often unfairly labeled as villains in the stories others create, but in reality, their role in people's lives is anything but that. They're quietly playing a transformative role that few can truly understand. At the end of the day, it's not about how others view them, but about how their presence, the chosen one's energy, has a ripple effect. It's funny how they're often called villains in the stories people make, but in reality, they're actually doing the opposite. They're out there making a difference, even if most people don't get it. The energy that makes them seem misunderstood is the same energy that makes others change, often having a huge impact long after they're gone. Number 11, God isn't passive, but strategic in how they keep people safe. The chosen ones get that God's protection isn't about stopping bad things from happening right away. It's a more strategic and purposeful way of keeping people safe. While others might expect divine, the chosen ones know that God's protection is more than just keeping them from harm. It's a strategic and purposeful way of keeping them safe. They understand that the challenges they face, even when they're painful, are actually part of a bigger plan. They trust that even in their toughest moments, God has a plan to help them grow and evolve. This helps them see suffering as a way to build resilience and deepen their understanding. Each hardship and trial is a stepping stone on their journey. The chosen ones know that these challenges, though painful, are often part of a bigger plan. They trust that even in their toughest moments, there's a divine strategy unfolding that's designed to shape them, not break them. This understanding lets them see suffering not as a random, senseless event, but as something with a deeper purpose. Each hardship, each trial, is a stepping stone meant to build resilience, humility, and foster wisdom. The pain they endure isn't a sign of abandonment, but rather a tool for their spiritual evolution. God's protection manifests in ways that go far beyond simple physical safety. It's about ensuring they're molded into who they need to be to fulfill their higher calling. In moments of struggle, chosen ones may not feel protected in the traditional sense, but they trust that the suffering serves a greater purpose. They understand that this unfolding process, however, true power lies in not needing to settle the score or seek revenge when wronged. Chosen ones know that real strength comes from releasing that desire and trusting that a higher power sees and understands everything. When someone hurts them, they don't feel compelled to fight back. God's protection isn't passive, it's strategic. It ensures that they fulfill their destiny while being shaped into the person they are meant to be. It's a protection that doesn't keep them from pain, but ensures they never break under it. In the end, they are being prepared for a higher purpose, and nothing, not even suffering, can stop them from fulfilling it. The chosen ones know that true power lies in not needing to settle the score. They understand that real strength comes from releasing the desire to settle the score or seek revenge when wronged. In a world where many people are driven by the need for justice or retaliation, they know that true power lies in not feeling the need to settle the score or seek revenge. They trust that a higher power sees and understands everything. When someone hurts them, they don't feel compelled to do anything. The chosen ones know that true power lies in not feeling the need to settle the score or seek revenge when wronged. In a world where many are driven by the need for justice or retaliation, they understand that real strength comes from releasing that desire and trusting that a higher power sees and understands everything. When someone hurts them, they don't feel compelled to fight back or expose the wrongdoers. Instead, they remain confident that the divine will take care of the imbalance in its own time and way, far beyond anything they could do themselves. This detachment from retaliation is what truly unnerves those who try to harm them. They expect anger, frustration, or attempts at revenge, but when the chosen ones move on without so much as a word, it shifts the power dynamic. The chosen ones don't engage in petty battles or stoop to the manipulator's level. They don't need to prove themselves or engage in revenge. They trust that the universe will handle justice far more effectively than any act of revenge ever could. They remain confident that the divine will take care of the imbalance in its own time and way, far beyond anything they could do themselves. This detachment from retaliation is what truly unnerves those who try to harm them. They expect anger, frustration, or attempts at revenge, but when the chosen ones move on without so much as a word, it shifts the power dynamic. The manipulator is left with nothing to react to, no energy to feed off. The chosen ones don't need to stoop to their level or engage in petty battles. They are at peace with knowing that justice isn't theirs to exact. Their faith in divine justice allows them to move on unburdened by bitterness or hatred, leaving their wrongdoers to wrestle with their own actions. This sense of liberation is what truly sets chosen ones apart. They're not chasing revenge, so they're emotionally free and spiritually powerful. Other people might find this unnerving, but the chosen ones trust that the universe or a higher power will handle justice better than any act of revenge ever could. And in this freedom, they find their true strength. Ultimately, the chosen one's journey isn't about getting even or proving themselves to others. It's about having a deep trust in a higher purpose, a divine plan that guides them even through tough times. They're often misunderstood, tested, and hurt, but each experience makes them stronger, more resilient, and more spiritually mature. They don't seek validation because they know that true power comes from within, from their connection to something greater than the transient judgments of the world. Their strength lies in their silence, their ability to move on without the need to settle the score. They understand that God's protection is not passive, but strategic, guiding them through challenges in ways that others may never fully understand. While others may try to manipulate, falsely accuse, or harm them, the chosen ones don't need to retaliate. Their faith in divine justice allows them to move forward, unhindered by bitterness or the need to expose others. They know that everything unfolds as it should, and in the end, their vindication will not come from their own hands, but from the truth that will eventually be revealed. Chosen ones are not just survivors. They are catalysts for transformation, often stirring things up. They encourage others to deal with their own issues. Whether or not others recognize it, they have a transformative role in the lives of those who cross their path. And though they may walk alone at times, they know that this path is theirs alone to walk, guided by a divine force that ensures they fulfill their higher calling. In the grand scheme, the chosen ones are not concerned with they're not bothered by short-term problems or other people's drama. They're focused on something bigger, something that can't be stopped. Because of that, they're pretty much untouchable. They're not affected by the little games of the world. If you felt the power and truth in these words, don't let this journey end here. Hit that subscribe button and join a community of like-minded people. If you're into deep stuff, not just the surface, then you're in the right place. We're diving deep, challenging norms, and embracing the power within. You won't want to miss what's coming next, so don't just watch. Subscribe and let's continue this journey together. Trust me, you're in the right place. Let's keep awakening, growing, and conquering together. Stay blessed.